Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We're taking you on a audio journey. I want you to imagine that you're traveling through India and the various states in India on a 100-day journey with executive corporate chef Mayank Istwal. My special guest today. He's executive chef at Musaafer in Houston, Texas. He just won a Michelin star. And welcome back, chef.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
So
You
we were
know,
talking. I'm
yes.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm so excited for this next section. Seriously.
Ye- You're going to take us on a tour.
Yes.
Uh, and I should point out, this is not unlike what happens when you go to Musafir restaurant, Indian restaurant, right? You go on a tour. You were talking about the training, 6 weeks of training for a new menu and ongoing daily training with the staff. Um, it's not only about the food and the spices and the ingredients and the seasonal choices that are available and the flavors of the menu, but it's about, I'm sure, the bar, the drinks that you create there that complement the menu, but it's also about the culture and training about the regions. And so I think that's so fascinating. But before we start on your 100-day journey that you took before you opened the restaurant, and before you created the menu, before we start that journey, I just have a quick question. Is storytelling, in your opinion, I think I know the answer, but is storytelling a new way to experience a restaurant? It feels like I see this more often, that restaurants really tell a story as they serve you the meal. Do you think that's a true statement, that that's a new um,
Mhm.
process in a good restaurant? What are your feelings on storytelling?
So storytelling is something, I'll talk about myself and then I'll go to the restauranting. Like it comes very naturally to me because if you see my culture, we always had kahani, kathaएं, that literally translate into like storytelling art that India has deep rooted in our culture. Whenever a priest, used to visit our home, he used to tell a story from the mythological eras and everything. So while growing up, it really was in me. I was an amazing storyteller because I was able to tell my story because I was into the food industry for a very young age. Like I was 8 years old with my dad. So it was a very young age, but still I was able to tell my story all the time. And then when we opened this restaurant in Houston, right? And I told everybody that story is the most important part. People should know where these ingredients, these spices are coming from. These are like single origin spices. We have connection with the spice plantation people. They should know like the amount of hard work that goes in to get these spices in, right? Every single spice, every single ingredient that comes to the restaurant, right? It's such a great connection when you talk about it, the seasonal aspect of it. I'll give an example. I always tell my staff members cardamom, green cardamom and black cardamom. So the green cardamom grows, it's a cooling spice. It grows in the southern part of India. It's very hot and humid, and your body needs a lot of cooling, right? It grows there. On the other hand, the black cardamom, the bigger cardamom, it is a warming spice. It grows above in the northern part of India, foothills of the mountains, which is very cold there, and your body requires a lot of warming. Mother Nature is absolutely beautiful. And we work with the spice plantation with, we work with the spice plantation people there, and we tell their story, like how it all works, like what is the whole procedure, right? So this is just one part of it, this one spice that we're talking about. There's so many different spices that we use, right? As I said previously, we're changing the spice box with the season. And and and, and the storytelling part is so important, where they talk about my journey going to these places and making these connections and then giving them this hope that, we'll be working with you. Then talking about a dish that is, like there are communities in India that are on the verge of extinction because there are very few people left that are practicing that cuisine. That recipes were never in the mainstream. We give those communities hope, right? Okay, we will be the flag bearers. We will take this dish. We will put this in the menu, and we will see that. Then you will see your generation, the future generation. They will be very proud. Like, like this chef was won a Michelin star. He's doing this dish, our home cooked meals in the restaurant. How amazing is that? So you give them hope, a certain hope, like it's not only about the butter chicken and all the popular dishes in the Indian cuisine. It's also about the dishes that never make their cut to the menus of any chefs. Giving that little small communities hope, and you can only do it when you travel extensively, and that was the reason the journey was so important. So
So,
important.
okay, so you're sitting down at a hotel after the two owners had visited you and visited your restaurant, and now you're sitting down after they've had this fantastic meal that you prepared, and they offer you an opportunity to open a restaurant with them in Houston, Texas, right? So now you say, if we do this right, I mean, you can clean this up, but I need to go on a 100-day journey over all 29 states in India and go to actually homes and try dishes and bring back recipes that are authentic and homemade and from the culture and from the regions. Is that sort of how this adventure
Yeah,
begins?
100%. This is how it all began. I
So take it from there.
Yeah,
What did they say? What's their reaction? Is it
yeah.
immediately?
So they processed it. They processed it for sure. They said, okay, you're talking about a journey to all 29 states. I said yes. Okay, then they asked, like, you're saying you'll be gone. I said yes. I said that's the only way to capture the whole cuisine. I'm an expert on Northern Indian cuisine. I know some of the Southern Indian part. I know like specific, but there are so many. There are 55 cuisines that we are talking about, and there's a lot of small communities that none of the chefs dare to celebrate. We have to celebrate them. We have to bring something that is unusual, out of the box, that nobody thinks about putting on a menu. We have to do that. We have to be unique because we are celebrating Musaafer. It's a traveler that we are celebrating. So we have to celebrate the traveler in great pomp and show, like that is a traveler went everywhere, every single corner of the country. We're talking about the topography of the country, so rich, huge coastal lines surrounded by three oceanic bodies: Indian Ocean in the south, on the western coastal belt we have Arabian Sea, on the other part, eastern coastal belt, we have the Bay of Bengal. We're talking about the Great Deccan Plateau. We're talking about the desert, the dry region in Rajasthan. We're talking about the great Himalayan mountains. Then we're also talking about the northern plains and the deltas on the east part. I said, which country you will see so much diversity? We are blessed that we were born here. It is like unbelievable, the kind of like diversity in the topography of it. And on top of it, there's such rich history of culture. One of the oldest civilizations in the world, we're talking about the Indus Valley. There's so much happening. Then I also told them, I remember that we gave the oldest oven known to the mankind, the tandoor, found like 4,500 years ago in one of the sites of Indus Valley civilization. The site was Kalibangan. Like we're talking about the history before Christ. How fascinating is that if we are able to translate that into food, the techniques and the ingredients, like the culture, everything like under one roof. It's such they agreed, and we were all on the same. Even they wanted something similar, but I think the journey was something that sealed the deal.
What did they go on the journey with you, or was this a solo
They
journey?
they did for some parts. They also
Marta?
joined in some
Now,
part of the journey.
when you proposed this idea, did you know that it was going to come out of your mouth? Did you? Because it sounds like a huge commitment on your part as well. You've got a family, um, and you threw out this idea of a 100-day I don't know where you got that, but how you figured out that was the perfect amount of days and the 29 states and all the different regions. How did you know that you were going to say that?
Yeah, so I knew that I'm gonna go on a journey. So I thought like 100 days are reasonable. So I don't want to say like it will be 2.5 years, 3 years. I think 100 days. So I said it will be a 100-day journey. But after they agree, then I told them, but there will be some breaks in between. So we are not counting like 100 days, like I'm gone for 100 days. So definitely, I told them that I'll be taking breaks for a week or two every time when I come back from a region. I'm going to test this recipe. You will be the part of the process. We'll all taste it together. I'll cook these dishes. You'll see a modern spin on it through techniques or, like whatever I bring to the table, there'll be a amalgamation, a combination of old and the new techniques. And that is what we want to translate here. And then we
So
were test.
at this point, did you have a location or did they have a location? Um, did you have to delay the construction or the kitchen build or anything? Did this happen first and then we go find a location or we go build out our location? Which came first there?
So they already, I remember very clearly when I met them, they already had a location in mind where they were opening for sure.
Okay.
Then they wanted me to take a trip to Houston with them so that we can see the location. We finalize it. Okay, this is a great spot to be in. Then I start my journey. So I remember we had this interview, with them, my interview with them it happened in the month of September of 2016. Then March 2017, then we were talking about the concept and how we flow, because planning of the journey is also very important. I was still on that job, the other job that I was doing.
Yeah.
I left the job in March and then joined them and then came to Houston. So to see the site. And then, then after I went back from Houston, the journey started.
And you were taking a big chance as well. I mean, they were taking a chance on you and your idea and your vision, and you were taking a chance as well that, moving across the world with your family and restaurant business is so hard. Uh, and I want to get into that because you opened up right around COVID, right? I mean, you had that difficulty, or you opened and then you had that in front of you. But I really still want to talk about this journey. We got to take a break, but let me give you a couple minutes, set up a couple stories, or tell me if you wouldn't mind. Did it all go smooth? How did you map it out? Tell me a couple stories before we do go to break here, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes.
Highlights of the trip.
Okay. So I remember one of the stories when I was in Maharashtra. That is a state in the western part of India. So I was there in the city called Kolhapur, and then we had this cooking session with a home cook. And then I get this call. We are driving towards that place where we are about to having a cooking session, and I get this call, and I'm told that the home cook is not keeping well. We have to cancel the cooking session. And I was very upset because you come all the way there and this cooking session is canceled. But the driver who was driving this car, he overheard my conversation. He said, "Are you a chef?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Are you here to like cook some local Kolhapuri dishes?" I said, "Yes, of course." He said, "If you don't mind, I'm from Kotrud. It's like an hour drive from here, from the city. If you don't mind, I can take you to my place." And then my wife and my mother, they are amazing cooks. They can cook something really cool. I said, "Oh my God." I said, "You made my day. Let's go." I said, "What do you want? Should I carry something?" And he said, "No, don't worry." He makes some phone calls and we go there. Oh my God. Beautiful farm setting. Beautiful farm setting. Everything organically grown. So I go with his wife. We pluck all these vegetables, fruits, everything, and we butcher the fresh meat, everything there, and then we are cooking like naturally on live fire, right? And it is such a wholesome experience. Like we do a soup, we do a stew, we do a curry, we do some breads, we do everything, And then I remember he said, "You know what? It's very dark. Do you want to crash here tonight? And like I will do that. I don't have a very comfortable bed here to sleep, but I will do that. You are the people who really open your heart out
Yeah.
for me to experience your hospitality, your food, your experience. But I said, why not? I'm gonna stay tonight. And then I stayed tonight, that night with them. And then they made some chai for me. I remember it was such a soothing chai. I was relaxed. I went to sleep like a baby. Eh, when I woke up, there were some fruits. It's the chiku that we call. It's the mud apple, and it's from the sapota family. Oh my God, fresh from the garden. We had that. Then made another tea for the morning, and we're all set to leave. And we took pictures, and then what amazing people, such wonderful people. Like I was very frustrated that the cooking session got cancelled, and like I was able to achieve so much
Yeah. Sounds like it was
during
meant to be.
meant to be
Yeah.
there, and then
Yeah.
canceling the session was like fascinating. And yeah, another
What
trip.
a beautiful story.
Yes, yes, yes. So there was another trip. I remember I went with a fisherman in the Arabian Sea, and and we started early morning, like 4 a.m. We were asked to be at the ocean shores, and then there was a tender boat that took us to the main ship, the big ship, and then we started sailing, and then we went deep in the Arabian Sea. Oh my God, the process is very interesting. They'll throw a net 80 meters deep inside the sea, and then this boat is moving. They know exactly where to put these nets. This boat is moving, and then you start like bringing this net up. Oh my God, when they were like, so the amount of fishes that ocean has to offer. They were crabs, they were shrimps. It's a mix. There was a snake, right? And then this guy like quickly picked up the snake, threw it back to the ocean. He said, this belongs to the ocean, not for us. Like, and then they give you these small baskets, right? They give you these small baskets. And then when they give you these small baskets, you are basically collecting, like segregating all these different fishes. Then then he said, are you hungry? I said, 100% I'm hungry. And because looking at this amazing, I've never had fish so fresh. And they had a little stove, I remember, and some spice that they brought from the seashore. And then they cooked some fishes. Oh my God, so good. And then we went back in the evening, right? And his wife had a small eatery at the coastline, right? And, it
Yeah.
was a very small eatery. And he said, you know what? We have a surprise for you. I said, what is the surprise? He said, my wife is an excellent cook, not like you, but she's an excellent cook. She's a master of the trade. Whatever is cooked here, she's gonna do a all seafood meal for you today. I said, oh my God. I said, I
Wow.
can't wait. Imagine the fish that we caught. She made like 3 or 4 appetizers from different kind of seafood. She made a bread. She made some rice, like a pulao out of this seafood. A fish curry that was fascinating, still on the menu. Oh my God,
And
everything.
you'd been on the sea all day. You're hungry. You've got
Oh,
that sea air you've been breathing.
yeah,
You've caught this fish yourself. And so what
yeah,
an amazing
yeah.
experience. And
And
that's
so
the
rewarding.
chef's life, right? That can be the life. That can be, and then you bring that back and you share that story.
Yeah, and
Um,
she also gave me a little spice blend. She take it, and we still deal with her. Like she sends this spice blend to us every 2 months.
wow. What you made some lifelong friends, it sounds like, on your travels. Now, are you ever going to turn this into a book, these stories and these experiences and recipes? You ever think
That is
about that, or are you too busy right now?
no, definitely. I have a lot of books ideas that I want to do. I'm already working on some of my.
I want to read this one. It sounds
Yes,
good.
it will be very interesting. The stories of the journey.
The
Yes,
stories of the journey of the chef.
yes.
I am today taking my travels. We're traveling across India with executive corporate chef Mayank Istwal, and just won a Michelin star for the restaurant in Houston, Texas. If you get out there, you got to get there. Musaafer. And you can find them online at musaaferhouston.com. And Musaafer Houston on all the socials on Instagram. Um, you've got a holiday carryout dinner package if you're in Houston, Texas. I can't imagine why you'd want to carry out because I'd want to dine in. Your place sounds amazing. We're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. Musafir's holiday carryout dinner package features a family-style tandoori turkey feast with everything you need for a memorable Thanksgiving meal with your family and your friends. But you got to order by November 27th. You have 2 days for pickup at Musafir. You can call them or email them to place your order at reservation@musafirhouston.com. And if you get a chance, experience the restaurant with the chef and his staff, executive corporate chef Mayank Istwal, Musafir Indian Restaurant, Houston, Texas. He's my special guest today. We're telling stories and we're talking about his travels and we're talking about the food and the spices and the things he's tasted. And it's making me hungry. I need to book a trip out to Houston, Texas and see you, chef. We'll be right back.